Well, good morning. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there on YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. And I want to thank you all for coming in today, Lions Talk Live Morning Show Edition. And you know what? Hey, the season is one day closer to being here. And I know we're all kind of getting ready for the preseason to be here and not talk about speculation, other stuff, get into some real meat of the story. But you know what? We got about 2 more weeks roughly from today to endure before rookies report. And I think we're all going to be thankful for that. But with that being said, hey, we still got to fill up the airtime and talk about a few things. And thankfully, NFLcom, among a couple other places, started talking about Detroit Lions secondary. It seems like they've been the topic of speculation the last few days. So we're going to do a little bit of deep dive into that. We're going to show you guys some videos, some things being said. Terryon Arnold, hey, I think we all get it. This kid's under a little bit of pressure. They all want him to be out there. There's talk of him potentially being a defensive rookie of the year candidate. Is that going to hold water? Is he going to be able to rise to the top? I personally think so. Brian Branch, can he become the leader of the Lions pack, I guess? Will he be a safety? Will he be a corner? Will he be a slot? Whatever he's going to be, I think he's just going to be a defensive star for us. I think he's going to drop the hammer on people. He's going to get some sacks. He's going to get some picks, force some turnovers. Whatever it is, I think this kid's going to break out this year. I really do. I think he's going to be in the running to be an all-pro. Carlton Davis III, I think he is going to be a veteran presence that kind of comes out here, does a lot of good things for the team, helps some of the younger players really mature, really kind of grow and develop. And then, of course, you still got Ife Melifanu. You got Kirby Joseph. Both of them, I think, are fully capable of stepping in and making huge plays for this team. But we'll get all to that in time. As you guys know, we got 5 topics now. And just so you guys know, the bottom of the hour, we're going to have Anthony from Lions Roar UK hopping on over. He's going to be joining us later to the show about the bottom of the hour. He's going to give us some of his thoughts on stuff, see what he can do to help us on out and to explore and understand what the Detroit Lions secondary and season is going to be like. And from there, hey, we'll have to see what Anthony says, but that will be at the bottom of the hour. So hopefully you are all looking forward to seeing Anthony join us on the show. That's right. He will be the special guest at the bottom of the hour. So get ready for him to join us. All right, real quick, before we get into 5 topics now and the main topic of the day, you guys already know how it goes. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push to 6,900 subs, and we're about 50 away. Also, if you could take a brief moment of time, it is free. It only takes a half second. Hit that thumbs up button. It helps the channel out exponentially. So if you're willing to do that, please help out. We try to get each video to between 200 to 300 likes, etc. So help out with that. Last but not least, outside of being a scout and a YouTuber, I am a realtor. So if you're looking for someone to help represent you on either the sale or purchase of property anywhere in the state of Michigan, you see my number on the screen. You can shoot me a call, give me a text, whatever it is, and you can have a conversation with me. We'll talk about what we can do to help set you up, make the process of buying or selling a property a whole lot easier. And if you're outside of the state of Michigan, you can still get a hold of me, but there's a couple things I got to do a little differently. So with all that being said, 269-998-2384. Go ahead and get a hold of me, and we'll see what we can do for you. All right, now let's get on to the first segment of the day. That will be 5 headlines now. So without further ado, let's get on over to 5 headlines now. Boy, that music really just jumps out there, doesn't it? All right, 5 headlines now. You're going to see some redundant themes in here, but let's get going into it with the drum roll, please. Amon-Ra St. Brown says Lions still feel like underdogs, and that's from All Lions. Story by Josh Shalatsky. So, hey, feel free to go and check it out. As we all know, Netflix's Receiver series is about ready to unleash. I believe it unleashed later yesterday. I haven't actually checked it out yet, but if you want a little something to watch before the season gets going, go ahead and check that out. He's still a rookie in my mind. Broderick Martin is a work in progress. That's from Sports Illustrated. And John Macarone, you guys have seen him on Woodward Sports, among other outlets. John's been a Lions beat reporter for some time. And he, in the story, while he says, how Martin really hasn't had a ton of development prior to last year. He says that he does go on to say he thinks he's going to have a pretty good breakout season. So go ahead and check that out if you have a little free time during your day or week. Lions safety Kirby Joseph has goal of intercepting as many quarterbacks as possible. Quote, everybody is on the hit list. And that's from NFL.com by Nick Shook. So if you want to talk about the Detroit Lions secondary, the importance they're all going to have on their roles this season, what they're going to be able to do to help on out, hey, that's something you're going to want to go read. Kirby Joseph, I do believe, is going to be an integral part of this secondary and the way it performs. You can talk all we want about, the symbiotic relationship between the front seven and the back end. The pass rush gets home, that secondary's defense or job is going to be a whole lot easier. The more that the front seven struggles to get to the quarterback, the more pressure you're going to put on that secondary. But I'm going to say this. I think the Lions are going to be incredibly aggressive, sending people after the quarterback, maybe multiple blitzes. And that's going to allow the cornerbacks, the secondary, to make some educated guesses. If they can jump on some passes, undercut some, maybe get some tip passes, you're going to see house calls being done fairly regularly at Ford Field. All right, Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown dishes on why he agreed to do Netflix's Receiver. That's from Clutch Points, story by Ben Strauss. So, again, we're talking about the Receiver. In case you don't know, it is a show sort of like the quarterback show they had on Netflix, where they're just interviewing different quarterbacks, in this case, receivers, how they go through things, part of their process, what it takes to be one of the greats at their levels. So I'll let that also sink in. Netflix and many fans are starting to identify Amon-Ra St. Brown as a top 5, top 10 wide receiver in the whole NFL. So from fourth round draft pick who felt slated to perhaps being in the conversation for being one of the league's elite, go ahead and check out Netflix's Receiver if you got a little time with your day. All right, Lions training camp preview. A finally settled quarterback room. That's from Lions Wire and Jeff Risdon. So Risdon is doing a preseason preview, I guess you could say, of different positions with the Detroit Lions. If you want a little bit of time, or you have a little bit of time, I should say, go over and read it. Jeff's a good dude. He's been a beat reporter for a long, long time. He's got a great way for penning stories, and he does another good job breaking down and analyzing some of the different positions heading into training camp, which we know is just a couple weeks away. All right, now let's, with all the top 5 headlines now out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day, and we got something new for you. Yep, I'm getting a little bit better with the graphics and everything, so if you guys like some of the new graphics, if you guys like some of the new pop-ups and stuff like that, just go ahead and let me know. So if you guys are enjoying me adding more things like this to the show, hey, feedback's always welcomed. And yeah, hopefully everybody's getting a kick out of it. All right, let me head on over to, we got to share the screen here, present, share, and let's go ahead. And we're going to start off with the NFL.com reporters talking about Kirby Joseph, the Lions secondary, etc. So we'll get through that, and then we'll get some other video here for you. So un momento, por favor. Let me get this started up here, and hey, let's go ahead and get over to the video.
The Detroit Lions, who are a couple of bounces and weird plays away from being a Super Bowl team, they're out there now, too, going through the course of the spring. Dan Campbell talked today. This is the last week for the veterans. They'll have some of the rookies back for another week of OTAs next week. But this is it for the veterans. Tell me about that defense, and particularly the defensive backfield that's undergone a big-time type of an overhaul since last season.
Yeah, great point by you. I just realized in the monitor, I kind of wore Honolulu blue. So, maybe those are some good vibes for the Detroit Lions, who hope to get better defensively. None of us can really forget, right, Tom, more man coverage, and has alluded to that most recently in his press conferences. But, they wanted guys with tough mentalities, especially for that secondary, who are fighters. And Aaron Glenn said these two specifically are fighters. But the thing that I love most is they can't figure out, at least right now, and they shouldn't right now, but who their starters are going to be. Dan Campbell, the head coach, actually today, I believe it was, said that this thing is wide open. They have no idea, and he and Brad Holmes, the GM, have gone back and forth. Who is going to start? Who are the outside corners going to be? Who are our inside safeties going to be? And who's going to play at the nickel position? Brian Branch, of course, had such a good rookie campaign, but I cannot wait, Tom, in training camp to see how this secondary comes together and takes form, really how they determine who those starters are going to be to complement Aiden Hutchinson and company up front.
Brian Branch somehow fell to the second round of the draft. The Lions can only hope they get a similar type of an impact from a guy who's got, I think, Stacey, one of the best highlight names in the entire rookie class, Ennis Rakestraw Jr. You can hear that coming out the first time that he makes a big play. Stacey, thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you again soon here. The Eagles.
All right, and now we've got one other bit for you. So 1 second, please, while I head on over. Hey, here we go. Here we go.
Let's move to the defensive rookie of the year. Dallas Turner, the Vikings. Remember, the Vikings traded up to get him. Turner's plus 400, and they need pass rushers. My favorite one is Laiatu Latu.
It'll be 1 second until they talk about the Lions.
They need edge rushers badly out of UCLA. He was the best edge rusher for this draft. I love him at plus 600. Jared versus the Rams, their first round pick, plus 1,100. Hey.
And of course, there's a commercial, so who knew? 1 second while this goes through. So sorry about that, guys. I thought I had it all teed up to where it wouldn't be a problem, but is what it is. Got to wait for the commercial. Hey, they get you with these things. My bad, guys. Still getting better and better with some of these screen shares, so hopefully you guys don't get too upset with me.
The Rams have a first-round pick for the first time in 7 years. He's plus 1,100. And Quinion Mitchell, he's also plus 1,100. The Eagles' first-round pick, he was the first corner taken in this draft out of Toledo. He will wind up starting opposite Darius Slay. And one more for you, Terryon Arnold, plus 1,100 for the Lions out of Alabama. That's a good one, and he'll play plenty in year one. But I like Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA, at plus 600.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on from that one. Didn't have it teed up great, so apologies about that one. But I think we all get the gist. Lions secondary is going to come out this year, and they're going to have a lot of people talking about it, and they are talking about it. They're talking about the potential out of Brian Branch. They're talking about, Rakestraw. They're talking about Arnold, and there was another video, but it's not loading right, so I won't subject you guys to any more of my video faux pas or whatever. But whatever it is, I think we all get it. Last year, the Lions were within just a quarter, maybe a half of making the Super Bowl. And with a secondary that was basically mashed together parts from free agency, leftovers from other cuts of other teams late in the year. I mean, to think that Vildor was on the streets in November and playing in the NFC title game in January. I mean, that just goes to show just what the Lions had to do to mash together a secondary that could potentially get them to the promised land. They nearly did it. So my question is, how much pressure are these guys under this year? If the front seven can do what they did last year and improve upon it, that should help with the secondary. But there are going to be times these guys are all going to be on the island. They're going to be left over just, having to go one-on-one, seeing what they can do for themselves and what they can do for themselves to help make plays for this team. So I'm going to ask you, the Dew Crew, what are your expectations for this secondary? What are your expectations for each of the players? Do you think Arnold is going to be able to live up to the hype and potentially push for Defensive Rookie of the Year? Do you think Williams is going to be able to help mold some of these younger players into better defensive players, all-stars, all-pros, playmakers? How about that? Let's see what you guys have to say. I still think that Manuel Mosley is going to be a sleeper pick for us as far as if he's healthy, he's going to be able to help out a lot. But enough what I say. We've got about 15 minutes until Anthony joins us. So, let's hop on over and see what the Dew Crew has to say this morning. Lance, good morning, all. First, that's never I see what you're doing. First, yes, that's never happened before, ! And yes, I think the season will ride a great deal on how our defense and back half performs. No fly zone. We haven't heard that in a little bit. So, yes, no fly zone. And that's actually what this secondary might become. They might become so good with the pressure up front that, they're going to put a lot of heat and pressure on quarterbacks. We all get it. That most of the NFL, about 70% of it, the defensive coverages are zone. So what we could see out of the Lions defense last year is as they went around the Denver game to almost strictly man-to-man across the board. They did play some zone, but it was heavily influenced by man-to-man coverage. that it did create some problems for quarterbacks. Yes, they picked us apart at times. Yes, they made some big plays, some big hits if somebody fell down. But you saw all quarterbacks go through some issues where they nearly threw picks, or they did throw picks. I mean, let's also remember in that NFC title game, the Lions dropped 3 would-be interceptions. If they hold on to 2 of those, maybe you can make the argument one of those, the Lions win that game. So maybe you are right. The no-fly zone is in effect. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Diamonds come from where? Question mark. Take the last ride of the day. I see Super Bowl. Woo! And good morning to you too, Bo. Clark, greetings and salutations. I think the DBs will shine this year. Arnold, Robinson, Davis, Iffy, and others are going to be just fine. Who knows? Arnold might even get Defensive Rookie of the Year. You know, there is more and more chatter about that. I know when we did the $10 million bet on golf video this weekend or whatever it was, there was a sizable bet on Terryon to get Defensive Rookie of the Year. So you could be spot on with that, Clark. Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan Lions fail. Songs for the Lions. The heat is on and under pressure. How will they handle this season is with a strong, locked locker room and coaching. Yes, I think they will handle it. I think the coaching too, because you're going to say that these guys are on their positions by their 4th year in the league in their positions. Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of improvement out of all of them. So spot on with that, Gunny, and good morning. Robert, greetings and salutations. Back at you. Eddie, good morning, brothers and sisters of the Do Crew. As long as the pass rush can get home, then our secondary should be more than fine. Yeah, I would go with that. I think they're going to be more than fine. I think they're going to do well. I think, I know I've mentioned it. I think they're going to see a lot of picks, interceptions, tip passes, all of the above. I think you're going to see all that come into play this year. I think they're going to do just fine with things. And now, could it be that I'm way off base? Maybe these guys all fall on their face. I don't know. But I do believe you've got some strong guys that can press at the line of scrimmage, that can, win their one-on-one battles and keep on wide receivers that get it in and out of the breaks quickly. Yeah, I think it's going to be just fine for us. But you still got to go out there and do it. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Arnold for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Davis to lead the way. One pride. And good morning to you too, Steph. Eddie, anyone else think Iffy busts out this year? I think yes, because of his coverage skills, his ability to read, his size, and don't forget, he's got some length. He can, help negate a lot of passing angles because of his wingspan. Yeah, I think he'll be someone in play. Seeing him matched up against running backs, tight ends, maybe some wide receivers, 3 or 4. Yeah, I think he'll be a good matchup for us. See, Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, everyone. Superdome, Super Bowl. Woo, woo, woo. And good morning to you too, my friend, and just for you. All right, back at it now. Robert, I believe the Lions will be prepared properly, which will negate the pressure. Yeah, and if there's been one area of struggle really for this coaching staff, the first couple of seasons they've been here, it does appear to be the defensive backs. For whatever reasons, they've moved on from everybody they put in that coaching spot. So is it those coaches? Is it Bly? Is it, I can't even remember the first year guy's name that they released after the Miami game. But hey, whatever it is, they've decided to go on in different directions, and hopefully this time Williams is the answer to said problem. Mike the Marine, agreed, thumbs up. All right, we'll go with that, and good morning to you. France, good evening, everyone. I think you're right, Robert Yankee. Unlike some of the last few years. Yeah, I think the coaching should be much better. At least that's our hope, correct? Let's see, Robert. The way the Lions draft, I believe they can sustain this for an indefinite period of time. You're not wrong. If you keep drafting well, you basically become the Green Bay Packers. I mean, nobody wants to hear it if you're a Lions fan or an NFC North fan, but it does look like Jordan Love will be their 3rd straight very good quarterback. I'm not going to say he's Hall of Fame or anything, but assuming he's at least all-pro, that means the Packers have done the seemingly impossible. They will have gone 30-plus years with high-level quarterback play. Now you look at the rest of their team, how well they draft, how well they develop players. And yeah, I think you're spot on, Robert. They They just do well. If you can mirror that, then you know what? You're always going to be the running two if you're a Lions fan. Just say Kate Green's citations all. Good pressure from the front seven will help take the stress off that secondary. A lot of good young talent on this defense. It's going to shine through this year. Yeah, you think of people like Broderick Martin, Joshua Pascal, James Houston, among other people like Derek Barnes, Campbell. You get it. There's a lot of great young talent on this team. And if they really do get to the point where they're developing and coming through a little bit more, then so be it. This team could really take a giant step forward. Robert, I believe that the live streaming of the Tree of Destiny, you believe that we should have that? Yeah, we'll push the Lions over the top 100%. Yes, and, hey, we'll have to set that up at the appropriate time, get that on over to the Duke crew. Detroit D, great salutations, everyone. Back at you, my friend. Hopefully you're having an outstanding morning, and thank you always for being a part of the show. Big Eddie, laughing out loud. Robert Yankee, make that a pay-per-view event. There we go. We can make that, everybody donate $1 or something for the Tree of Destiny Foundation. Good morning, Detroit D. There you go. Lions fan number 1, good morning, all. Remember that Brand Holmes said this week that, yes, you are correct, the cornerback competition would be a bloodbath. He did say that. You remember that was in the 5 headlines, this week or whatever. I don't remember which day. But he did say he thought there was so much depth, so much competition. All the dudes want to be here. They don't want to be on another team. That you're spot on. They're coming to play this year, and you know what? I think that's good because iron sharpens iron. How do you make a diamond? You put it under a bunch of pressure. You either turn it into a diamond, or you take a piece of coal, put it under a bunch of pressure. It either becomes a diamond or turns to dust. So one of those two things will happen with each of these guys. Bo, we got the air traffic control crew will make every throw a highway to the danger zone. I see what you did there, and you could be correct on that. Steve, good morning, gang. Air traffic control, no fly zone. Hell nah, you can't throw on us group. There you go. We got a lot of different names, and we'll take them all. Bo, enter at your own risk. Yeah, you go up against this defense. I'm not going to say we're going to be top 10, top 5, anything like that. I just think we're going to be a pain for other teams to play against because, as we talked about earlier, so much of the NFL is zone coverage. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what it is. The vast majority of it is that. So now the accuracy requirements for quarterbacks aren't what they once were when the league was predominantly man-to-man. And you're talking 70s and in early to mid-80s with that. But now the Lions have brought something back. You're predominantly having to face a defense that's putting pressure on you. You've got to throw on the run, and you've got to consistently throw accurately. Again, not to say that it all came down to 1 or 2 plays, but last year's NFC title game, Brock Purdy is a pretty accurate quarterback. But Brock Purdy also nearly threw 3 interceptions that weren't picked off. He did, have the one with Rodrigo that was picked. But even on that one, he was getting hit in the face. The other ones, having to throw off balance a little bit earlier under pressure. I believe you want to bust up today's offenses in the NFL. I think the Lions are doing 100% the right thing. Put pressure on the quarterback. You're going to have to live with some chunk plays. You're going to get gashed here and there. Don't play safe. You play safe, you're going to get ran over. Go out and smear that quarterback. Put him down on the turf, and eventually he will be human. At some point, a couple times each game, if you're hitting them, there will be a tip pass. There will be a pass that's either a little off target, one way or the other with it, and make those plays when they present themselves. You do that, you're going to win some ball games. 9 Jinx. Oh boy, this is going to be a good one. Yes, you are correct. Every morning with the Duke crew is a good one. Good morning, Duke crew, and good morning, 9 Drinks. Good to see you in the chat, man. Normally not here in the morning, so good to have you. Mike the Marine Gunny, Top Gun song reference, Danger Zone, woo, woo, and 100%. Yeah, I think I knew where he was going with that one. See, Quentin, Green Sanitations all. I think we're going to snatch 5 picks, 6s. Anyone else got guesses on how many pick returns we get this season? It's funny you say that because I think you're pretty spot on. I think we're going to, because of the hits, the style, are we going to have 6 interceptions returns for touchdowns? Or 5, I think you put, sorry, man. I don't know. That would be great. But I'll say this. I think we can get 2 to 4. How about that? 2 to 4. Somewhere in that range. Bo, we have the top guns and young ones. Yeah, the vast majority of this team is under 25 years old. It doesn't mean there aren't guys older than that, but yeah, we have a very strong, good young nucleus on this team. Stephanie Bobo, that's what she said. Enter at your own risk. Well, I'm going to leave that one alone since we're on air, but we'll just go with yes. She would have been right, says Bo. Yes, we'll go with that. Steve Rogers laughing. Jason, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, here we go. All right, here we go. Bo, it's either oh me gosh or oh my gosh. Oh, well, all the above. Let's go with that. Circle that one. D, all the above. Mike DeMarine, let's get up for an exciting show in season in Hallelujah Blue Viagra. There we go. Woo! Yes, we're taking this show to a whole new level. We're rocketing on up the charts. All right, let's see. France, oh boy, Dan Voice. Yes, oh boy, here we go. There we go. Let's see, 9 drinks. Woo! Had to take a day off. Wife's flight back to Michigan to Fort Lauderdale, Florida was too much. All right. Hopefully it went okay. Hopefully no problems on the flight. So, yeah, that's never good. I think the worst flight I ever had was actually just flying from Michigan to New York. We hit some sort of, I don't know, air pocket, turbulence, whatever, and the flight dropped what seemed like 15 seconds. It was probably really only like 2 or 3 seconds. Who knows? But when the fact that the flight crew all yelled out and screamed, I was like, yeah, that's not good. But, you know, everything was fine. Obviously, I'm here. Bo, here I go again. Yes, in the only road you ever known, right? Doug, we are very young, but the upside is tremendous. AG wants a head coaching job. Williams has a great defensive line pedigree. We kept one of the top OCs in the NFL in Ben Johnson. We acquired 4 DBs and might get San Francisco Mosley back. Woo! So let's analyze that. I think you're spot on with all of it. And I know I've gone on record and said it to the show. One of our biggest advantages early in the year, in my opinion, is the fact that we're going to be able to maintain our offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. And at the start of the year, when since preseason is really not a big thing anymore, I think that gives us, with so much returning talent, a huge advantage in that, yeah, they're not going to be on full page, but you know what? We're going to be a whole lot further along than a team who's starting off with new coaching staffs, new OCs, DCs, a lot of new players, maybe a new quarterback. I think it gives the Lions a huge advantage. Then you go into the part about the youth of this team. Hey, the fact that a lot of them are returning players, again, the familiarity, maybe you don't need as much of the preseason. Maybe instead of waiting until game 2 or 3 to kind of get your feet wet and really on the same page, it's maybe only a quarter or 2, maybe a half. All right, good morning, Dominic from Texas. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully having a great one and a safe one down there. Mike, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! Y'all here early. Show starts at 7. Yeah, a lot of them get on. I usually post the thumbnail or the link for the channel at like, I don't know, 6:30, 6:40, somewhere in that range. And yeah, some of the crew just hop on right away and start talking to each other. Really have kind of become a family. So a lot of them just enjoy getting on there and, hey, having a chat away. Hookadoo, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. No pass zone, armed and ready. One pride, all of the above, and good morning, Hooks. Hopefully having a great one. Mike the Marine Gunning, howdy, Dominic, 100%. Bo, we can talk the talk because our guys can walk the walk. I would agree with that. I think, yeah, playing in Ford Field, I remember the Silver Dome. It was called the Terror Dome for a while, and then maybe it's a reference to Public Enemy, 80s, 90s group. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun with it. So, we got about 1 minute, and then Anthony of Lions Roar UK, who just entered the green room. We'll bring him on board here. So, Anthony, hold on just a second. We'll get you on. Doug, can Joseph make the leap that Iffy did? Branch step up to Pro Bowl. Arnold represent Bama? ? Our D-line finished the pass rushes? Yes, for sure. All good questions, and we'll have to wait and see. Big Dad's good morning, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. Our DBs will prove to be one of our best assets, and we have plenty of them to throw out there, each doing something a little different to help out. Well, I would agree, Big Daz. Good morning to you, by the way. And yeah, they all got something to prove, but they also have a strong core to go with. So, all right, it is that time to bring on the man, the myth, the legend. So, without further ado, you guys all know him. He's been around, hey, the YouTube circuit for a long time. Let's bring him on right now. We got him right there. Bring him on stage. Anthony, how's your morning going?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks, Dan. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad at all. Thanks for, I guess it's afternoon for you, or at least pretty close to that. So we got a topic this morning. We got the Lions secondary being the target of NFLcom and other spots, talking about their strengths, how good this team could be. In a nutshell, how strong of a part of the team could this secondary be? Do you think there could be a strength, still a weakness? Do you think they could be one of the stronger or weaker components?
I mean, this could be a great secondary. And the reason why is we've now got the right balance of veterans and youth in the team. Like we've not had that for a long time now. We've had a lot of young guys in there, but we've put a load of vets in who've sort of not performed, who've not been worthy of the money we've given them. And that's kind of left the young guys on an island, not allowed them to develop. And it's just created us problems for years now. But we're getting guys who are in their prime, like Carlton Davis, Meek Robertson. They've played a lot in the NFL. They've played well. And then you're adding all this young talent in there with them. You know, we've got Terryon Arnold coming this year. I just can't wait to see him play. We've got Brian Branch going into year 2. We've got Iffy finally breaking out. You've got Kirby, who we know what he can do. It just feels like we've got the right balance now. And I think they're going to be really good. I think it might take a little bit of time. When all these new guys are coming in, you know, you've got to establish a rhythm and communication and everything in the NFL. It doesn't always just click like that. But I think by the time the season's done, they're going to be a really, really good unit.
You know, you talked about how good this unit could become. Let's start analyzing it by saying the returning guys, and that would be Iffy, that would be Branch, that would be Kirby Joseph. With those three, and just talking about these three, what are your expectations going into this season for each of those players?
Oh, I've said them beginning. Branch is going to be one of the premier players at his position, like playing in that nickel role. I would like to see him. I would like to see him play where he's at his best. I know where he can sort of move around all over the line and everything, but I would like to see us play him for what we drafted him for. I would like to see him become that elite guy because he absolutely will be. And he's going to play, you know, put him on as many snaps as you can give him. Don't bring him off. Just keep him out there. Find any which way you can because his development's going to be big for us. He's the best player we've got on our secondary for me in terms of his overall, like, top skill level. He's just going to be absolutely wonderful. As for the other returners, like you say, the safeties for them, this is all about consistency with them too this year. Like, I want to play. I want to play them too this year as much as possible because if it's a contract year, and you want to see if the second half of year 3 was indicative of what he's going to be permanently. And Kirby, you want to see the year 3, like, you know, he had a rougher year 2 than he did year 1. Now you want to see that he's learned, he's developing, he's carrying on. Because you're going to have a pair of safeties for the next half decade there at least who are going to front your room. So I've got high expectations for them all. I think the stars have aligned for them to do well. And now, like I say, you've got good veterans in the room. You've got depth, so you don't need to just throw them out there all the time. You can sort of put them in positions of strength, match them up well, give them the best possible opportunity to succeed, which I think that's going to be the difference this year.
So we're about 2-ish weeks away from training camp beginning. There's going to be, I know Brand Holmes came out and said he thought the battle for the cornerback spots to become one of the guys on the 53-man roster was going to be a bloodbath. There does seem to be more depth in the secondary than at any point I can remember. So with that being said, if you had to pick out 6 guys to be cornerbacks to make this year's team, who are you picking out?
I mean, you bought Meek Robertson in, you've bought Carlton Davis in. They're going to be the veteran presences. They're going to be the leaders in that room. Of course, you've got your 2 draft picks, Terryon and Rakeem Straw. Outside of that, I mean, I know a lot of people see Branch as safety and they're putting him there because the depth isn't as good in the room, but I still play him as nickel. I know he can do all, but I'd be taking him as a corner and playing him as that nickel guy. And then after that, I figure it's going to be down to one of the special teams sorts there maybe. I'm just not sold on Mosley being healthy to do it all yet. You know, successive ACL tears is a pain in the neck. I mean, obviously, I need to see him in preseason. Like, that's going to be big. If he can play, I don't know what his situation is at the minute, but yeah, certainly, like, the depth there is incredible compared to what we've had before. Like, no one's even talking about Rakeem Straw at the moment, which I guess is good. Like, he's not a rookie you've just got to throw in there and throw to the Wolves and hope it works. You can work him into the team because there's no immediate need to start him day one. So again, all these guys are going to be in the best position to succeed. I'd say depth is really good.
You talked about Emmanuel Mosley. Yeah, we all get it. I mean, he was hopefully going to come in last year and help us out, maybe even be our number one if he would have been healthy. But then he goes out there just a couple snaps in, unfortunately, and blows out the other ACL. Do you think there's any chance he can recover to what he was in San Francisco, or do you think that he's basically, if he makes the team great, maybe we keep him on the practice squad? If you're the Detroit Lions, do you really gamble one of your precious roster spots on him?
Well, that's what I mean. This is why I need to see him in preseason. I need to see where he's at and what he's doing, because let's not get it wrong. These NFL guys, they have like elite mentality. Like, these guys just don't get told no for anything. You'd look at it on paper and say ACL, both legs. He's just wrecked. You need to get him back up to NFL speed to go up against some really good competition. And we're against a number one schedule this year. We've got a hell of a schedule against a hell of some receivers. Like, you would say it's against him, but he won't believe that. He'll believe every second that he can come back and be the guy who was there. For me, the average guy watching, like you said, he was brought in as the veteran presence to lead the room and to steady that. But you've got Carlton Davis now. You've got Amit Robertson now, guys who are healthy, who've played a lot over the last couple of years, who offer what we bought him in for. And then you've got your rookies below that, and then you've got other guys in the rotation as well. So it just, obviously, if he's fit and healthy, you take him 100%. But I can't say until I see him play. I think it would be a big gamble because, there's a lot of players on our roster who, especially over recent years, we've taken with injury gambles, and not often do they work out. Levi has struggled, like Julian Aquara was always injured. It was, right. And like I said, this is a Super Bowl window. They're very precious places, and we can't afford to lose people to getting poached if we try to get to the practice squad. So it's very tough. I just think with the veterans we've got in the room, the need for him is not as big as it was before. That's my only thing there, but I would never write him off, ever.
So Arnold has come out yesterday. There were several articles that jumped out and said, hey, he's feeling pressure, so much pressure ahead of the 2024 season. Do you think there's really pressure on him to perform, or do you feel like this is self-imposed pressure?
I think there is. I mean, you read what he says on the article. He's ready for it. He said the team and him are under a lot of pressure. And from the outside, of course they are, because like our secondary, we have very big trust issue with our secondary guys, right, Dan? Like, again, the amount of vets we've brought in, the amount of false dawns we've had over the years. We thought Okudah was going to be the guy. Now, that wasn't necessarily his fault, but our track record is not good. So it's kind of, you want to come in and set the tone and be good from the off. And when you see a lot of the Lions draft picks from previous years, I mean, this is no pressure to be an all-pro year one, but he comes in, he sees Penny be great year one, Amon-Ra be great year one, Aiden be great year one. Like, there's a culture set here now where these first-round picks, they come in and they perform well. And I'm not surprised that he feels the need to continue that tradition, especially as well. Our secondary issues are documented. He's at our biggest position of need from last year is a corner, full stop. We need a healthy, elite level corner to set the tone for this team. And he feels like he's going to be that guy. And I think he's going to be that guy. Like, he's the guy you do throw out there from day one, because I believe he'll fight and he'll scrap and he will get to where he's going to go, which is very high level corner. So
I think we all agree he may have been the best corner in the draft. I mean, you could argue him or Mitchell were one or two and whatever else. But the fact the Lions got him at 24, the fact that it's a position of need for us, all these things come into play. There is some chatter, and you're even seeing some bets over in Vegas emerge saying that Arnold could be Defensive Rookie of the Year. You think that's a realistic expectation for Terryon Arnold? And if so, what kind of stats do you think he'll put up this year?
I think it is, and because when it comes to looking at Defensive Rookie of the Year, and they've got to play well, so you've got to look at the unit around them. Like, you can't just have, like, a rookie could be great, but if he's only as good as the unit around him, like the thing levied against Sauce Gardner, like, he had a defense, he had a great year one, but no one ever threw at him. because they were just throwing everywhere else over there. So did he really get tested to the degree he could? With having Carlton Davis on the opposite side to you as an established high-level Super Bowl winning NFL corner, teams are going to look at Terryon Arnold and go, you know what? Let's pick on the rookie here. Let's see what he's made of, which is going to give Terryon plenty of chances to make plays on the ball, to show what he's capable of, because teams will go after him. And again, you look at the tranche of receivers you have to go through early this season. There's so many high-level guys coming up. You know, you got Justin Jefferson in there, you got CeeDee Lamb in there, you got Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. You know, it's just going to be test after test after test of him. But I think he's going to do great because of the guys around him. Again, we've got a settled unit now. The safety's going to be able to hang back a bit, be able to provide protection to the corners, and not going to have to come up and babysit these guys. I do think he does have a good chance of Defensive Rookie of the Year. Like I say, he's going to get tested because a lot of teams won't want to throw a Colin.
Sure. Give Brand Holmes a lot of credit for constructing this team in record time. It feels like we all can remember just 3 seasons ago, this team was trash. You had a new coaching staff, new regime coming in, the longtime quarterback out the window, new guy that nobody thought was good anymore comes on in. So you've had a huge renaissance in Detroit. Detroit and Brand Holmes did something very unusual in the fact that they drafted a cornerback in the first round and then doubled down on that position in the second round. Rakeem Straw, what are your expectations? Are they huge for him? Are they subtle? Do you think he's going to need a season or 2 to gel? Or do you think this kid comes in and plays pretty significant this year?
I mean, I'm going to have to be careful here because my last comments on a corner on this team pick the attention of the player. So I don't want to annoy anybody else. But I think it was the right decision. I think most of us thought they were going to double dip at corner in this draft because we've needed to reset it youth-wise with top-tier talent. We need to set that corner for the next few years. For me, Rakeem Straw, he'll see the field this year. I reckon they'll make packages for him, but I think they will work him in to this team and they'll do it over time. Like, obviously, if there's an injury in the nickel position, whatever, and you want to bring him in there and help, then he will see the field. But I think we're in the luxury position where we can kind of just develop him and bring him in gradually. Because I think that's what he is. He's going to be a gradual player. And again, doing this, like, I can't hide from my takes and that. I can't just say he's going to be, because I made it very well known in the pre-draft process. I didn't think he was the best corner at Missouri last year. I thought that was Abrams Drain. He got picked at pick 150, so I can't then say Rakeem Straw's just going to come in and be an all-pro at the NFL level. I think he's going to take time to be developed. Do I think he could be a great player? Absolutely. But not right off the bat. But He's in a great position here. We don't need to throw him in there right away. We can develop him, get him some role plays in there, work him in, and eventually get him in as a big part of the rotation. He can be worth a second-round pick, absolutely.
Okay. Again, because we have training camp coming up here in just a few weeks, are there any players you think would be surprise additions that don't get cut for this year's roster on offense and then defense?
Ooh.
Put you under pressure here.
I think Brandon Joseph's coming this year at safety. I think this is going to be I don't know if that's kind of because they said they wanted to bring him up already, but given the depth of the safety position, I think if he performs well, looks good. I think he's absolutely going to come up here. I mean, outside of that, it's on sort of, I don't know, maybe it's an offensive lineman that I'm thinking about here that might do, but I think we're going to take more. I think we're going to take 10 or 11 this year. We need to. I've well documented this, but Brandon Joseph will be one for sure.
Okay.
And then it'll be in the receiver room somewhere. But I'm not quite sure because I do like DPJ and that. So I would fill it out with the vets we've got, but I do think a rookie will make it.
Okay. I'll go with that. Yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about some of the undrafted guys. So it does sound like there's some potential for one of them to snag if the Lions keep 6 spots to snag a wide receiver. So especially why not have somebody with some development, especially someone like Williams, where if need be, he could maybe even potentially be your emergency quarterback since he did play quarterback in the collegiate level for a couple seasons. All right. So with the season also coming up, what's your biggest remaining worry for the Detroit Lions entering the 2024/25 season?
The biggest worry I've got is it's the pass rush opposite Hutch. because it's guys who all need to prove their fitness going for. Like, I believe that room's highly talented, but Davenport's had his injury issues. Houston's had his injury issues. Pascal's had his injury issues, and they've all been inconsistent with their play. And like, that's big because we need that second edge opposite Hutch, because that'll just provide so much more pressure on the quarterback. And as you say, when you're pressuring the quarterback, you're creating opportunities for your secondary. Everything filters through there. I believe they can be good, but until I can see the consistent play for them, that one of these guys can actually really stand up opposite him, that is still my sneaking worry. If we can't get bona fide pressure on the quarterback all the time, then this new look secondary will get tested early, and it might be a problem for us. But like I say, I believe they can do it. I just need to see it first.
If you had to place a bet in Vegas right now, who do you think starts opposite Hutch week 1?
I'd be Davenport. Like, they bought Davenport to do that, and you know, they've got a lot of loyalty. Like, Campbell has a lot of loyalty to the guys he's worked with. They've bought him for a reason. They've given him a good amount of money. I don't think Houston's going to be quite fully fit. I would like it to be Pascal, because for me, that's a really big year for him. It's year 3. He needs to prove that he's worthy of the pick we gave on him, that he can be consistent, he can be healthy. But I think it'll be Davenport to start with. But I think they'll work in rotation. I don't think they'll have a starter for that position. They'll give them all an opportunity to go for it. It'll just be Davenport takes the first physical snap.
Okay. Last question I got for you, and I get getting out of here. But Broderick Martin and Levi Jones, Enrique, what kind of expectations do you have for each of these guys this upcoming season?
I love Broderick. I've loved Broderick since day one. I think this is year 1 was going to be a scratch. Yeah, you can't just come up from the level of collegiate football he did and just thrive in the NFL. It was always going to take a year sat on the bench. I think this year is going to be his rotational role year, because obviously you've got DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil. So you've no need, you know, if those two are healthy and play the snaps they do. So, but I think he's going to be the rotational guy this year. You're going to see him start to work his way into the team with a view to really been a big part in year 3. Levi, again, I'm on Levi's side. I want him to do well. He's another who I'm going to have to wait to preseason to see how he's moving, see how he's playing, because again, I think it's a battle between him and Wingo for that 4 spot. You've just spent a draft pick on Wingo, so you want to be as certain as you can that Levi's good to go if you're going to make that call. So, like Broderick, it's going to be his year working his way into the team. Levi, I would hope it's going to be his breakout year, but I've got to see first with preseason.
Okay, and then one last question I got for you. Is Hendon Hooker going to be the most watched player on the the Detroit Lions this preseason?
Ooh, we've got a lot of guys who could be most watched. I think it'll be JMO. I think there's so much about JMO that I don't know if they'll play him, but I would like to see them play him a bit. But he could very well be. Like, the question of our backup quarterback is a big one, but for me, he's always going to be a back. He's not challenging Goff. If he was challenging Goff, then I'd be a bit more invested in him. He's not going to. He's going to back him up. I think it'd be someone like JMO for me.
Okay. All right, Anthony, I want to thank you for coming on in. Why don't you go ahead and tell the Duke crew all about you, where they can find you, all the big information.
So you can find me at Roar of the Lions UK. We are a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond. So if you want to come and hear about all things Lions-based from a British perspective, then come check us out. We're live on Mondays. I talk college football on Wednesdays or Tuesdays, and you know, we go live during the season as well. So yeah, come find us at Roar of the Lions UK. And before I scoot, thank you, Dan, again, as always. I love joining Dan the man and the Duke crew. You have a wonderful community here. It's a great part of YouTube. I love coming on your show. So I appreciate you having me back.
Hey, anytime, my friend, anytime. All right, Anthony, thanks for coming on in today. Yeah, come on over and check him out. Check out his site. He does great work, and yeah, a true Lions fan. So go on over, support his channel, check him out, and check out the guys over across the pond. So, Anthony, you have a great day, and thanks for joining the Duke crew this morning.
Yeah, you all have a great day as well, and if you will, cheer on England for me tonight, semi-finals of the Euros. So back your boy over here. See you later.
See you now. Have a good one. All right, that was Anthony from Lions Roar UK. Hey, thank him for coming on over and giving us a little bit of his time this morning. So, all right, we've got a couple minutes left in the show. Let's go ahead and finish up with the Duke crew. Big M, so bricked for this upcoming season? 100%. Yeah, everybody is. If you're a Lions fan, this is a season perhaps with the most anticipation, the most expectations that any of us can remember. Man, you'd have to go back probably to the 50s to have one more than this. Maybe an argument can be made for 92 just because you were coming off the NFC title game there. Unfortunately, that season didn't go the greatest for the Detroit Lions for a multitude of reasons. Manifest My Destiny, a great pass rush is a DB's best friend. Man, you ain't wrong there. I think you're spot on, and good morning, Manifest. Chuck E. Cheese, it's tough for a defensive back to win Defensive Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year, Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, unless you have a season like Sauce Gardner. Yeah, well, nobody throws you in a direction that will help. So maybe Arnold can do something like that. Maybe they we'll see what kind of expectations really happen for this kid. I know there's a lot of chatter about it, but I'd say wait and see what shakes out. All right, Big M, I know Sauce won the award, but Hutch got robbed. I believe Hutch had more interceptions than Sauce did. I think you're right on that. More sacks, more interceptions, more tackles. Sauce, although nobody was throwing his way, so I think a lot of the voters just took that into consideration. Bo, Big M playing in New York City versus Detroit, right? Yeah, let's not be false. That was also a big factor for it. A lot more media there, a lot more hype. Hey, it is what it is, though. Hutch is probably going to be okay. Hookadoo, one of my favorite movies, Bo, 100%. It is, exactly. Big M, yeah, exactly, 100%. Chuck E. Cheese, man, Lions are 22-8 since second half of 2022. So I almost thought about doing a video because I know Peyton Manning and Jeff Daniels did a video on the curse of Bobby Lane. It's just finding enough time to actually do it. But did you know the Lions were 1-6 the week that they did that video? And this is the second season of Dan Campbell's head coaching tenure. Right after that, what happens? Man, the turnaround begins. So I don't know if there actually was a jinx or curse or whatever. I don't know if they actually got rid of it. All I know is since that time, the Lions, man, they've been on fire. All right, see, Bo, right, Hookadoo, this is our turf, 100%, agreed. 9 drinks, only 8 Sundays, that sucks, didn't realize it. Hey, that's, the NFL season will be here before you know it. So enjoy your summer while it's here. Hookadoo, then the Joe Walsh song at the end, In the City, Bo, there you go. Mike the Marine, Gunny, awesome job with Ant-Man. Yeah, Ant-Man's a good dude, man, real good dude. He really does a great job analyzing, understanding the game, the players, what makes a good pick, what doesn't. So, hey, if he ever wanted to get into scouting, he probably could. So, I'll see if he ever wants to get into that. See, Bo, fun fact, Hookadoo, Eagles bought Joe Welch in to give them a little more edge. All right, fair enough. Amy, hey, Duke Crew, I wanted to say hi. Have a super day, Go Lions. You too, Amy. Thanks for always sending me some good stuff, too, on social media. So, Amy sometimes messages me some funny stuff or has some questions about the different aspects of the game. She good person, and thanks for always being part of the channel. Hookadoo, yep, they brought him in to give the Eagles more of a rock tune. All right, I don't follow the Eagles a whole ton, so you guys probably have more information on that than I do. All right, guys, it's about that time. I'll go ahead and get out of here, end up the show, get ready for the rest of my workday. If there is some sort of breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as fast as possible. Otherwise, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are 50 subs away from hitting 6,900. So if you help out with that, that'd be great. Trying to get to 7,000 before the season kicks off. Hopefully, maybe even a little bit more than that. If you have a brief moment of time and you're willing, it doesn't cost you a penny. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Helps the channel out a lot. It helps the show out a lot. So we try to get each video to 200 to 300 thumbs up. So if you're able to, please help out. Otherwise, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Patrick came in late, overslept, but glad I got in at the end. Hey, glad you're here, my friend. Always glad to see you. Happy trails to you. All done and dusted. See y'all tomorrow, 100%. So go enjoy the rest of your days. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until